Today is September 1st, a sweep in Kansas City. Oviedo throws a complete game shutout on Monday night. Let's break down the series, talk about the weekend, and some other things too. You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh, and I'm joined as always by my brother Jake, and also our 1-year-old who will not go to sleep tonight.
That's
up,
hilarious. Hey, man, what's going on?
You want to say what's up to Jake? No, you don't want to.
How about to everybody else listening? You want to say hi to them?
You want to say hi to anybody else listening? Just Jake? Yeah? You see Jake up there? That's Uncle Jake. Anyway, he won't go to sleep, so we were delaying our recording, and finally I said, let's do the intro with him here, because
why not?
This is where we're at right now. This dude will not go to sleep. Right? All right, I'm going to pause this. We're going to hand him off, and and then we'll get going. All right. we almost had to do like a full one with him not too long ago.
Yeah.
This dude will not go to sleep. He falls asleep. She drives him around. He falls asleep. You bring him back. If he wakes up, man, forget it. It's wild. Speaking of sleeping, Pirates got a sweep. They were sweeping. That actually wasn't where I was going. I just went there.
Yeah.
It was, bad one, but
That's all right.
Listen. The Royals they're not good.
No.
But you got to beat bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the Pirates did. So that's I heard somebody say it's the first step in becoming a good team. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I like that.
So, if you're going to be a good team, you got to take care of the teams you're supposed to beat. And they were supposed to beat the Royals. Now, I actually don't think that a sweep is what you have to do. I think you win series, right? I think a sweep, no matter who you're playing, a sweep is a little extra special, no matter what way you look at it. But we're going to talk about the series a little bit. We kind of break down the games a little bit here and there, and so we'll do that. And let's take a look at a couple other things. It's kind of, we got the Cardinals coming up, but when you get to this point in the season, it's September 1st when this is being released, right? Mm-hmm. We're actually recording this just the night before, so that's not hard. It's September 1st. You're looking at a whole month here. And then how many games in October? 6? No, literally one game in October this year. Sometimes there's like one game in October this year. So this is it. This is the last month. You started off the first month hot, get hot. Who cares? Why not?
Why not?
But anyway, you do have the Braves, you have the Phillies. You could say the Marlins, but I'm here to say they're not in it. I know some people are like they're not in it. They're not going to get in. I would be shocked if they do. And if they're about to, then I think we play spoilers in that last series of the. To be honest with you, maybe if we play good against the Phillies, maybe they can somehow. I don't think they're catching the Phillies. I think it'd be somebody else. I think it'd be like the Reds or the whoever's in that spot, Cubs right now, right? Or Giants or something like that. But it kind of does show that this National League is pretty balanced. You know what I mean? It's a pretty balanced league right now. There could be, I think right now it is, literally 2 teams from each division to move on. And we really thought it was not going to be like that.
Right.
And we're going to talk a little bit about what we thought. And I think it's just basically like a little bit of a, just a general discussion about what's going on and what it might look like the last month of the season and stuff. So anyway, let's get into the series. And let's start off with Johan Oviedo.
My guy was dealing. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, it seems like he definitely had everything going, and this is back-to-back now, right?
Yeah. And after what, 3 not so good outings?
Yeah.
And he had a stretch of like 5 or 6 before that were good.
Yep. I think Oviedo has turned himself into I think what we got from Oviedo this year was about as good as what we could have said. Like, if he does this, then I'll feel good about him going forward.
You know who he reminds me of in a Pirates uniform? Is Charlie Morton.
Really?
Charlie Morton went out and he was either on or off.
Okay. So
you know
I was
what I
like,
mean?
what? Okay. So not really pitching style, but
not pitching style. No,
I got
like
you.
the kind of like the inconsistent. You're not 100% sure what you're going to get when he goes out there.
Yeah.
But there's always a shot. Complete game shutout is above and beyond what we expect. But there's always that hope. Like he could have a good outing. And he could get blown up though.
Yeah, but I think with him too, I think it's streaky. You know what I mean? So like we have, and I got to tell you, I don't like this, but the Pirates seem to have a lot of really streaky players right now. You can look at the body of work of several guys and say like, hey, yeah, I think this is good. And I think that because you see the flashes of great from these guys, I think you accept the good sometimes because you assume, oh man, but remember this run? Like if he can tap more into that, he could really, like, you really could have a special team here. The problem is we've got too many guys that we need to tap into those streaks. And sometimes you just have a streaky player.
Yeah.
And, obviously Sawinski is on that list, probably one of the biggest. But you could say Oviedo is the pitching version of that. And, Mitch Keller's even been a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely streaky. Rich Hill was really streaky too. Like, he had every single start. He gave up 4 runs. So that was, a streak that he was on.
I thought we were never going to talk about him again.
I shouldn't have done it. But anyway, that's one of the things that maybe concerns me. I mean, what Key Brian Hayes is doing right now is ridiculous. What happens when he comes off of it? That's the question. If he can mellow out, because this is not sustainable.
No.
But if he can mellow out and be like good, if he can be what his season numbers sort of look like and just like hover there and then get hot, you're gonna have struggles, but it just can't be like fall off the table. And I think the biggest one for that is Sawinski. I mean, when it gets bad, it gets bad.
Gets brutal.
But I know that it's well documented, and we haven't talked a lot about it. And I think there's a reason for that. You can tell me what you think, but like, I still believe that Sawinski's a good player, and I understand that the rough patches are very rough, but I also have seen him improve from last year to this year, and I can do nothing but assume that he's going to improve again. And he's worth riding it out. I mean, one would say that who else you going to throw out there? But I mean, I just have seen too many times. Well, he needs to go to AA. Like, they're just now skipping AAA. He needs to go to AA. And I'm just like, bro, dude has 20 plus homers in the show this year. And just imagine if the streak wasn't so long, he's easy 30.
Yeah.
Easy 30. He just has to limit the streaks. Yeah. I just don't know. I don't understand how, as a Pirates fan, you're not on board to get this dude going and get him right. Because if you do, this guy is a difference maker. And he could even, and people, you could make the case. You could say like, yeah, but I mean, you could say he's like Kyle Schwarber. But Schwarber hits 40 homers. Well, Schwarber's also a veteran. He's gone through it. Let Sawinski go through it. Let him build that up. Sawinski's also a much better defender. Do you know that Kyle Schwarber, who's an excellent player for the Phillies, bats leadoff somehow, under 200, on base is still over 330. He's going to have 40 homers. He's not, I don't think he's there yet, but he'll have 40 homers. He's got a whole month. He's got like 36 or something like that. He'll be there.
Yeah.
Right? He's very valuable. He's on base. He drives in runs. He hits bombs. And he strikes out a ton. But he's still on base. Right? And he's still, like, you know, I mean, the analytics guys, I don't necessarily agree with it. You don't necessarily agree with it. But the analytics guys will say an out's an out.
Yeah.
And a strikeout is not a double play. I will give him that.
Yeah.
I don't think an out's an out all the time. I think you can have productive outs, but and they don't, you know what I mean? They don't do the sacrifice bunt because it's not productive because you're getting out. And I think that there are productive outs. But it is better than a double play. So I'll give you that. Yeah. Now, if I've got a guy on second and third, give me a productive out. If I have a guy on first, don't hit into a double play. I'd rather have a strikeout. So I'll give you that. Plus, he's in scoring position if you hit over the fence, if he's at first, right? So I get that if you're that kind of a guy. I don't know. I'm in on Sawinski. I think that he deserves a shot. I was going to say Schwarber has a negative WAR right now. Right? He has a negative WAR. So what is that? And you could say, well, because he strikes out a lot, because he's hitting under 200. Literally, that's not why. He has a negative WAR because he stinks on defense, and Bryce Harper's logjam in the DH spot this year. If he was a DH, he'd have a positive WAR because he's very valuable. And WAR likes the things that he does. This is why WAR is not perfect, right? This is why Jake hates WAR.
Well, you know, is he playing all the time? I don't think he is. I don't think he is. I think he's been DHing a lot.
Well,
Bryce Harper's been playing first.
Since Bryce Harper has been playing first, you're right. But that doesn't, I mean, that's not all the time. He has a 0.0 WAR right now, and he has 37 homers. He's driven in 85 runs. His on base is 333. His OPS plus is 115. He's 15% better than the average player. OPS is 788. And yes, he's hitting 188, which is worse than he did last year. You know, I mean, it's a lot worse than he did last year.
Yeah.
But last year, he led the league in homers and strikeouts, and he was super valuable. And he mostly DH'd. He had a 2.2 WAR, but he did play some defense last year. See if I can get down to fielding. Last year, he played... Oh, wait. He played 139 games in left last year. He only DH'd 15 times.
I think last year is the year that Bryce Harper was log jamming the DH.
Well, I mean, he did the first so many months of this year, too.
I don't think...
But Schwarber's only DH'd 37 times. He's got 95 starts in left field. But still more than last year. But you're right. I mean, maybe it was Harper. DH Bryce Harper, yeah. Oh, because Castellanos. But it was all the same thing. It's all part of the same deal.
Right.
But either way, he stinks on defense. But still, he's a valuable player. And Jack Sawinski will never be that because he's a good defender. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure the metrics are probably a little less kind to him in center field, but he's still been okay. He's still been fine.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? He was above average when he was playing a corner. So anyway, that was a rabbit trail I didn't expect to go down. But
I want to
backtrack
a little. I just want to back. Go ahead.
Let me, because then I can just finish that. Because we talk about the series, we don't just talk about the games. You know what I mean? Like but he did have that against that struggling pitcher. He hit that backside triple that hit the rail. Unbelievable that didn't. I mean, I don't even know how that's possible. I mean, I know it's possible, but like the chances, it's unreal.
He missed a home run.
You cut out there. What'd you say?
Said he missed a home run by a half inch.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then comes out the next night, gets 2 hits, including that home run that he's been waiting so long to hit. Finally, now hopefully that gets him moving. But that's what I got to say about Swinsky. Go ahead, backtrack. What are you going to say?
I'm going to backtrack a little bit to Oviedo.
Okay.
Okay, so the complete game shutout. I love the fact that I heard the story that they were going to take him out. He was not going to pitch the 9th inning. They started shaking hands almost. They were close. They'd made the decision. Andy went to Derek Shelton and said, "You cannot take him out. He's fine. We want him to go." And they didn't shake hands. He let him go.
Yeah, 112 pitches.
So, I mean, shout out to Andy too. Like, he's got leadership qualities for sure.
Yeah, and we're going to see some of that too. We're going to see some of that. I still think, I mean, like, it's really difficult for a rookie to come in here halfway through the season and catch a staff. And we talked about that. Did we just talk about that on Monday, or was that? So here's a little inside baseball. We've already recorded next Monday's episode, so I'm getting a little confused. I'm not sure where we were at, but I believe we talked about that on the episode that just released on Monday about him. And Mitch Keller, because we were talking about Keller, not being on the same page, and that takes, you have to have a body of work with a guy, and so I think for catchers there's a nuance there that's a little bit different, and I think that's good. I mean, he definitely has that kind of stuff. He's very animated with the way that he supports his pitchers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, all the time, just like moving around. When they throw a good pitch, he's affirming just with his body language. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I think those kind of things are good for pitchers. But so quickly, Rivas 2 doubles. Hayes goes 4 for 4. We talked about the run that he's on. A couple hits from Bay. They get the win 5-0. They go into Wednesday, and it's a little bit more of the same. We had the opener. Selby was good, 2 innings, and then Luis Ortiz bounce back start. Do you call it that? I mean, this is a bad lineup. But
I don't call it that. He didn't start.
Bounce back outing.
I hate the opener. I just don't like
it.
it.
You just wanted to take a shot at the opener. He went 5 innings.
He did.
Right? He only gives up 3 hits. He had 5 strikeouts. He did walk a couple, and he gave up a run. But there were a couple times where it looked like he was getting himself into trouble, and he did not fall apart. And I'll tell you one thing that I did see. 98 a couple times. It almost felt like bullish, like he's reaching back saying, "Bro, this is what I do."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a good place for him to be. But there was still a couple he had moments that was like, that's what we saw from him last year.
Yeah.
Fires 98 and then drops that slider that looks unhittable. And it's like, yeah, that's it. That's dominant right there. But there was some shaky too. So I think that there's still a little bit, but I think that that's possibly growth. But I wonder too, like, did he get away with maybe a little bit against this lineup? And sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes to dominate a lineup that's scuffling to get you going, right?
Yeah. Any way you can gain confidence, you can gain confidence. Because they're not looking. You can't look in the other dugout and say this team's not very good.
No,
I mean Oviedo said it after the game in his little post game interview. It's a good team over there. It's not, but I'm glad you think they are because you just dominated them and you just gained a lot of confidence.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think about it that way. As a matter of fact, I actually walked away from that interview before it was done. And looked at Katie and was like, I mean, he's lying anyway, so I don't care what he has to say. So that was, I don't know. What else do you say? They give the same answers for those things. There wasn't anything there. They don't ask good questions, but then again, what are you going to ask?
Right.
So anyway, Peguero 3 hits. Hayes hits a home run. Oh, Peguero hits the home run too. Also a bunt single in this. He had a really nice game. somehow StatCast is telling me that the Hayes home run was further than the Peguero home run.
There's no way.
There's no way. If you watch them back and look where they land, sure, Hayes is closer to center, but it was in the bullpen, and Peguero's was up against that wall back there. Like, no.
Yeah.
No, Peguero's was further.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen that actually a few times. I was listening.
The Triola home run.
Yeah, that was the one that we called out. Yep, that's right. And I was listening to The Compound, which is a podcast that Ian Happ is on. Like he's the host of it. And they've got a couple players on there. And they said something about a home run that he hit right-handed. And they called the stats on it, and he's like, I think it was further than that. You know what I mean? Like one of the other guys did, and he was like, yeah, I do too. I think it had a bad read on it. But the way he said that was so nonchalant, as if like, yeah, I mean, sometimes StatCast gets a bad read. Sometimes for whatever reason it is, it gets, it gets something wrong. So anyway, Sawinski hit that. That's the worst. Sawinski hit the triple. Reynolds hit a triple. Endy had a couple hits and a double. Jackson starts game 3. Is he all right? Like, I think Jackson might be all right.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to look pretty good, giving up the 2 hits and just the solo home run by Witt. I mean,
strikes out the first 5 batters of the game. But this is a guy who, prior to like the last few times he's been out there, I might have said like, yeah, it's a guy that we're just going to have for this year. And then probably in the offseason at some point when there's a roster crunch, he's gone. I'm not sure. I'm not sure he doesn't get a shot.
Right. Yeah.
At least he's worth keeping a hold of.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you. He keeps doing stuff like this. He's going to definitely have earned himself a shot going into next year.
Yeah, bullpen was locked down. Reynolds 2 hits, including a homer. Peguero double, and Sawinski gets that home run and another hit. I think it was just like an infield hit, but another hit. You know what I mean, to give him 2.
Yeah.
But Bobby Witt is he the only bat right now in that lineup that's going to beat you?
Oh yeah,
he's the real deal.
Yeah, I was just before we started this was watching the MLB Network and just looking at some of his stats they were talking through. Like, dude's legit.
Yeah, he's for real.
He's got all the tools. Yeah,
he hit a home run last year and missed first base. And then all the way around. Did you know that?
I forgot.
Yeah. But it was in AAA. And everybody wants to talk about how Ke'Bryan Hayes is so terrible because he missed first base. This guy did too. Let's talk about that. How terrible he is because he's not. It's just a thing that happened. Get over it.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway. It was literally like, if it wasn't the same day, it was like that week or whatever. And it's like, oh, cool. We can all have fun talking about this. But like the number 1 prospect in baseball just did the same thing.
Yeah.
61 wins going into the weekend. That's the next thing here. 1 win away from last year's win total. If you had any doubts whether this team was better than they were last year, I don't care how it happened. It's a full season. Things are going to happen. Like I said, if Jack Sawinski is awful for a month, but he was good in these other times, like, who cares? It's about the body of work. That's baseball. That's why the season is long.
Yes.
And that's why the Pirates weren't crowned champions after 1 month, because it's a full season. And I'm telling you, sometimes if you're going really good, watch out, because it might get really bad soon. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the guys who kind of even keel, they just stay even keel. They don't necessarily get hot unless at some point they're going to get really cold too. And I think a lot of that is if everybody goes together, you're in for great times and bad times.
Yeah.
But if you have guys going and guys struggling and guys going, then you end up staying pretty even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every team's going to have their struggle, but like the Pirates had some real bad times. And they also had a really good month. And we're about to see what the last month is going to be. It does not look like O'Neal Cruz is going to be back for this. I mean, it's almost official, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Pretty much. Yeah, they haven't really said
They
it,
haven't really said it.
but we know. I mean,
there's no reason for him to come back at this point.
Right. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess. It does feel a little bit, but anyway.
There's really no reason for him to come back this year.
The guy.
I don't care if it's experience or not.
Yeah.
Is it going to be healthy experience? Is it going to be, there's just no reason.
That's true. So anyway, I mean, this weekend we ought to see them reach last year's win total, hopefully surpass it. I mean, technically they should surpass it if they just win a series, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter how they do this weekend, they've already won the season series against the Cardinals. 7-3 right now. The worst we can do is 7-6. So you can look at that. We beat the Cardinals this year already. But it would be nice to get this from them because this is the last time we play them.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. As soon as I say stuff like that, then I'm always like, oh wait, is it?
It's weird because it's a different number of games this year.
Right. Yeah. Because it's not 19. It's just the 13. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I'll do this real quick. Mitch Keller, Dakota Hudson, game 1. That Drew Rom going game 2 against TBD. Like our chances there.
Yeah.
And Oviedo against Wainwright for the final game there. I'm going to refresh this to see. No, it's still TBD. So, I mean, I would imagine it's possibly another opener situation.
Dude's arm's about ready to fall off.
Wainwright.
No, TBD.
Oh, TBD. TBD's arm's about to fall off, guys.
You said Wainwright.
I was like, who are you talking about? TBD's arm's about to fall off. One night he pitched for both teams. It was like all-time pitcher. You guys ever play all-time pitcher? We got an odd amount of people, so we got to set teams. We did all-time quarterback all the time.
All the time.
I loved all-time quarterback. Be like, I'm always on offense. I'm just carving everyone up. All right, so let's talk about a few things here. I got to get my other screen pulled up here because we got a month left. Let's see how we did at the beginning of the year. We got a few picks that we made. Let's talk about those things. We've got some time right now. We're on a Midwest road trip. The Pirates are.
I'm about to be on a road trip.
You're about to be on a road trip. I mean, we have a road trip. We have a big weekend coming up. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Anyway, let's go real quick here. We
I don't even want to make picks next
Yankees.
year. I'm just saying.
Yankees. We said Yankees were going to win.
Last.
Cleveland and White Sox? Nah, White Sox are not in last. Well, because of Kansas City, right?
Right.
Houston, they're kind of in first. They're right there. Technically, they have them tied for first. They've played 2 more games than Seattle, so they've got a win and a loss. But if Seattle wins 2,
right,
and they're not, but still, they're right there. They're in the mix. And we have Toronto, Seattle, and I had Minnesota making it in, and Minnesota's going to be in, but as a division lead. Maybe 5 games with them in Cleveland, and Cleveland just claimed everybody on the planet. Did they get Giolito too?
I don't know. I heard there was a bunch of stuff going on. I haven't got a chance to look.
I'm pretty sure they got Giolito and Moore and one other guy from them.
From the Angels.
From the Angels. The Angels are just like, hey,
the Angels packed it.
We're giving up, dude. We're just going to save some money here.
Cincinnati picked up Harrison Bader, didn't they?
I missed that. Grichuk cleared. Carrasco cleared. Yeah. Guardians got Giolito, Ronaldo Lopez, and Matt Moore. It's wild. Yeah, they got Harrison Bader and Hunter Renfroe. That's actually sneaky.
Yeah, that's good.
That's actually sneaky for the Reds. I mean, they're 6 games out of the division, but they're just a game out of the wild card. I mean, that's sneaky right there. I mean, Harrison Bader, Bader would have been kind of a guy that I wouldn't have minded the Pirates grabbing a hold of. I don't think it's really worth it for the Pirates at this point to get anybody in this scenario. I know this was talked about, but for me, not really worth it because you're going to spend money. There's no return on that investment at all. All these guys are going to free agency, and you're not going to win a player over by taking his opportunity away from going to the postseason.
Yeah.
If you want these guys, you're going to have to pony up in the offseason period.
I don't know. I feel like a team like the Pirates, a team that's up and coming like that, which is the same deal with the Reds.
Sell that in the offseason. The Reds have a chance right now.
Right. You can try to sell that in the offseason, but getting them in the locker room, getting them around those guys before you're trying to sell it would go a long way.
But
now Cincinnati's going to have the chance to wrap him up.
But you took their ability to make the postseason away from them.
This year.
No, yeah. They would definitely be like, really, guys? You made me come to this? I mean, the Yankees are better than the Pirates.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying it could go either way.
I think you can can still sell that in the offseason.
You could, but you're not going to.
Even if you did, even if they said, yeah, I like what you guys are doing here. If you don't offer them more money than the next team, they're not going to sign with you.
It's true.
It doesn't matter what they think of what you're doing. What they want to think of is who's offering me the most money.
Some guys want to go where I think it's going to be tricky with a guy like Harrison Bader. I don't really think
for a month.
I think it's going to be tricky. I'm throwing that aside at this point. Okay. I think it's going to be tricky with a guy like Harrison Bader because he was a good player in St. Louis. They were always relevant. Goes to New York. He thought he was going to be on a better team. It collapses. He's always hurt. He's not performing up to what he was used to performing at.
A little bit of hometown pressure for him.
I think he's going to be looking for a fit more than money.
You know what fits real nice?
Yeah.
A more expensive pair of pants.
Another zero. I get it.
I'm just saying.
No, I definitely get what you're saying. Yeah. But I think a guy
especially for somebody who's been injured.
Somebody who's been injured or somebody who's...
especially for someone who's been injured, the money means more.
Yeah.
You want more guaranteed money.
We're way off.
We're way off. It's okay. It's okay. We're still talking about
it.
We're close. We're close in our standings though, is what I'm saying. Like, yeah, we got the Yankees wrong, but like Toronto's right in the mix. We have both of them there. Seattle's there in the mix. You threw an LA Angels in there and they really let everybody down again. And I threw a Minnesota in there. I was wrong on Cleveland, but I'll catch on the Minnesota. I'll take that dub, if you don't mind. We both had Atlanta. We both had San Diego. So we were very good, very bad on that. I think Atlanta was the easiest pick.
Yeah.
Even though some people tried to make it difficult and said that the Mets were going to do this thing. Now, did we not believe in the Mets? No, we both had them making a wild card. And we both had the Dodgers making a wild card, even though we were so foolish to believe in San Diego and the Mets. I love the fact that we would do it again, right? We would do it again because the players are there and they should have won. It's just karma, but you can't count on karma all the time.
Right.
We both also had Philly in there too. So we got Atlanta, we've got Philly, we've got the Dodgers in the postseason. But we both picked St. Louis.
Last.
But we had Milwaukee second, both of us. They're actually in first. And then, so mine was St. Louis, Milwaukee, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. You went Pittsburgh, Chicago, Cincinnati. So it just doesn't matter. It's a hodgepodge there. But the big deal is do we have a shot for our World Series picks? You have the Yankees over the Phillies, so you have no shot.
None.
I've got Atlanta or Philly over Seattle. I like my chances. Seattle's been coming back in. I'll take it. I'll take it. I like that. And Philly's starting to get hot again, just like they did last year. Watch out. Those guys in the postseason, man. If they catch fire, they're dangerous. All right, but this is the thing I wanted to talk about because we did make some picks, and we just saw Bobby Witt, and you know that Bobby Witt, with the Rookie of the Year, right? No, he missed out. I thought he won it last year. No, he was 4th last year, but we may have picked him. Julio Rodriguez, that's right. Yeah, it was a wild year last year. Adley, Stephen Kwan, Bobby Witt, Jeremy Pena was 5th. George Kirby. Okay. Wild year.
Yeah.
So this year's pretty wild too. Do you have anything, like, do you have the standings or anything, like where they're at? Like where people think they are right now?
As in like Rookie of the Year and stuff?
Yeah, like where the odds are now. We had Gunnar Henderson was the odds. What would I got odds here? Oh, yeah. I had Gunnar Henderson and Corbin Carroll, and you had Volpe and Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll's got it. Feels like, right? I know he went. He went bad for a while there, but I feel like he's there. And you picked Volpe. I picked Gunnar Henderson, but I also said I could have seen Josh Young, Volpe, or Tristan Casas taking it. Volpe's a 2020 guy. He's got a shot.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure where we're at there. I'm not sure who else popped into the scene.
There's always this couple of guys that no one saw coming.
Yeah, I feel like that's a weird one, though. I mean, I feel like we might have got close there. Cease and Nola and Garrett Cole and Spencer Strider for Cy Young picks. Cease, I don't think has a shot. Aaron Nola, I'm not liking that much. I like your picks a little bit. I mean, Garrett Cole probably not. I mean, there's been some really good pitching, but
yeah,
interesting there. Mike Trout and Trey Turner. I'm not getting neither one of those for MVP. And you have Ohtani and Matt Olson. Boy, Matt Olson in any other year, you might be saying he's in it, but he's not in it.
Right. No, it's Acuna.
No. I don't think it is.
Who in the world are you giving it to?
Mookie Betts has been unreal. I'd say it's a two-man race, but I think the way Acuna gets it is if Betts and Freeman take their share, like if they basically knock each other down because they play on the same team. But no, I mean right now I'm going Betts.
What Acuna's doing is unreal. And I take a little bit away from it because of the bases and the pickoff stuff, but
dude, have you looked at the numbers?
He's got 61 stolen bases and 30 home. He just hit his 30th homer tonight.
Have you looked at him? That's where I'm starting this. Have you looked at him?
No, not really.
I just want this season, bruh. Same season. This season. Man. I'm just saying. I think, I know that you see it a lot. I know that you see Acuna a lot. In the Braves there. I get it. But if you look at those numbers, man. 36 homers to 29. I know he hit his 30th tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 94 RBIs, 611. So he's got a 1 OPS, bro. I've said bro way too many times tonight, by the way. OPS plus a 172.
Okay.
If you're going to tell me that you're going to vote on You're gonna
I
make
think
you're
you
gonna
got
make
the
an
same-
MVP vote by saying he's got 60 bags. That's not. I mean, it's partly there, but that's not coming into the play for me.
I mean, you might as well add Olsen into this too, because Freddie's going to take away from Betts, but Olsen's going to take away from Acuna.
I don't think so, though. When you see the numbers, you're going to say like, yeah, I mean, Olsen's going to have 40 bombs, but he's 43 right now and
I think
112.
he already does.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I meant he's going to have it when we look at the numbers, but
Oh, I got you.
but there's not much else. You know, I mean, the 271. These guys are all well over 300.
I mean, look at the three. I'm not saying this is an MVP thing, but 130, 132, 132, 132.
Yeah,
I mean, 126 is nothing to sniffle at. I'm not saying that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm saying those three dudes have played in every single game this year.
every single game. And I think that Freeman gets a little bit, and I mean, you could say Olsen too, but like, oh, but he plays first. Freeman's got 17 swipes, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to talk about that, like that, I mean, Mookie doesn't steal,
Right.
but holy moly.
Of course, with a slugging percentage of 611, he's probably not on first base a whole lot.
That's fair. That's fair. But 1 OPS and Freddie Freeman's at 998.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at OPS plus, I mean, Freeman's over Acuna at that point.
Yeah.
But you're going to say 61 bags is nothing to joke about. That's crazy. But I'm just telling you, man, sometimes it's like, yeah, but have you looked at Mookie's numbers lately? And it's like, oh, I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, right now.
I mean, there's a reason the Dodgers are in first place.
Yeah. Yeah, and those two guys, those are why.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that Acuna's on the team that's won the most games.
Yeah.
So.
Should be an interesting vote then.
Yeah, that's going to be the crazy one, that NL MVP.
Yeah.
But it won't be Olsen, sorry.
No.
And it certainly isn't going to be Trey Turner. I will say about Trey Turner, though, hey, how about you cheer for a struggling guy and watch him take off?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. I've talked about it on this show before. Stop booing guys, maybe. Your home guys, maybe cheer for them. Maybe they'll come out of it.
Right.
Certainly, I mean, it's easy to say it certainly worked for Trey Turner. Trey Turner is also a great talent.
Yeah.
So there has to be a little bit of like, he had an inside chance of doing that no matter what.
We're not saying it would have helped Hedges.
Yeah, that's right. Definitely.
But we certainly didn't help by booing him though.
No.
And again, we all know the situation there.
Yeah, that's yeah. So anyway, the other thing is, and the reason that we go down this path and look at those things is because, for one, it's fun. Picks are fun. They're never accurate. You know what I mean? Like, just in general. However, how do we feel about our win total picks at this point?
Not good.
Not good? What do the Pirates have to do in this month? What do the Pirates have to... How many games do we have, actually?
Good question.
Okay, 6.
It's 130? If we played 132?
We have 28 games left. I'm counting, literally. We have 28 games left. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, jeez. You need him to go. This is what I'm saying. Like, oh, you need him to be unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. They need to be probably better than they were the first month.
I don't think quite that much, right? They need to go 17-11.
Oh, that's not that crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 17-11.
Reachable.
It's reachable. It's not 20-8.
They're not going to. But it's reachable.
But it's reachable. So I'm literally like, this team could go 12-16 in the month of September and add that one day in October. 12-16, and I hit on my 73. I kind of feel like they have to.
Yeah, I honestly don't think either one of us are in a terrible spot. I think I'm in a worse spot than
Yeah,
you.
17-11
but,
with this starting pitching is going to be like, that's not going to happen. And you already said that.
Yeah. But I feel like neither one of us are that far off. I think they're going to land somewhere in the middle.
I was going to say it might land somewhere in the middle there. There won't be a middle.
Baby.
One of us is going to win. Oh my gosh. Does anybody know where that's going? Go ahead, Jake.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you got to finish it now.
The story?
No, you got to finish just that line.
No.
Okay. Anyway. I mean, I'm just saying, like, 12-16 is kind of like, I thought they could have done better than that. We're talking about a team who might actually, I mean, I think a good chance if they start playing well, if what Key is right now, if what he's doing is starting to be on the good side of things, if Brian Reynolds is clicking, if we start getting some production out of some of these guys.
If Sawinski gets hot.
If Sawinski gets hot, we sweep this next series. I'm just kidding. But like if, you know what I mean? If you can somewhat pitch in the last month, you can go 12-16.
Yeah.
Or 13-15, right?
You think if Oviedo's turning a corner, Keller's turned a corner, you don't know what you got in Jackson, if he's, really making that push to try to get a shot next year.
Yeah, it all depends on what happens with the teams that we got 4 against the Nationals and 3 against the Yankees. We've got the 3 against St. Louis, and then we've got Cubs, Reds. You never know.
We would love to play spoiler for both of them.
That's right. So, there's some winnable games in there.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got 1, 2, 3. That's a 4-game series against the Nationals. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 series is left. So, you know what I mean? That's 8 wins to start. If you can just take one of them in each one of those. You only need 4 more. Half of those series, you either take them or split with the Nationals, and you've got your 12. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you can go there and lose most of your series.
Yeah.
If you can win half of your series from here on out. And then, what I said, maybe you take 3 or 4 from the Nationals, the team that's not as good as you. Maybe, but Nationals could do the same thing. They could get hot. They've got some young players.
Yeah.
But anyway, just fun to think about. There's actually something to chase here. Anybody listening to this, you made a prediction. You thought they were going to win this many games. All you're doing right now is saying, where was my number? And then that's what you're rooting for. I know it's not a playoff spot. I know that. But you probably didn't pick them in the playoffs in the first place.
Right.
So let's chase your number. If you were one of those guys that said 65, you're like, okay. I didn't believe they were better, but okay. And you could say what you want about, well, they had a hot month. They're still the same piece of garbage. And I'm like, that's, you know what I mean? They still had that hot month. Because they did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look what the Rays did.
Yeah, the Rays haven't been that good.
They're not in first place now.
Nope. They're going to be in the playoffs. They haven't been. No, they haven't been.
Well, yeah, they're going to be in the playoffs. But
now they're only a game and a half out.
Yeah.
They're starting to play better again. Actually, 8-2 in their last 10. But mostly 500 ball.
Yeah.
After that hot start. They went a little further than ours did. But.
Right.
Man.
Went a good bit further.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was it was probably in May when it was when they turned a corner there. And from that moment, probably close to a 500 team.
Yeah.
Now that's the other difference is we're an under 500 team since our start. You know what I'm saying? Like, well,
Right.
it hasn't even
Right.
been close to that, right? And we assumed that there would be some of that, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that after that hot start, I actually thought they're going to surpass the win total that I thought.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see a month like that happening. Like they outplayed what I thought they could do. And they earned it. I believe they earned it.
Absolutely.
But it is it looks like they have a chance to surpass, but it looks like they're probably lined up to be this might be the only year I've ever got it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to do. I mean, they're going to have to sweep a couple teams if they're going to finish. You know what I'm saying? If they're going to finish up there.
Right.
Because they're not going to win more series than they lose, I don't think. Not when you've got the Braves and then your last four.
Been going well.
I know, but you got your last four series against teams that are battling. The question is, will they? That's the second half of the month. Will they still be battling for a spot or not? The Phillies will be. But you got Cubs, Reds. Will they be battling? Will one of them kind of fall away? We don't know. Yeah. Marlins will fall away before the last weekend of the series. That's for sure. They're already falling away.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because if some of those guys do fall away out of contention, they might pack it harder because they are exhausted because they were pushing so hard. And as soon as they see that they're falling short, it might be like I'm done, dude.
Yeah.
We're not getting it. I'm done.
So we're one game worse than San Diego right now. And we have the same record as the Mets. If I could just say, can we finish above those two teams? Like that's the race for me as a Pirates fan. They're like banging on something up here. Still, he's probably still not asleep.
He's probably jumping on your bed.
I don't think he can. I mean, he can't jump.
I know.
He can't jump. He's probably standing up, banging on something.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's it. That's all we have. Let's we've got a fun weekend coming up. Yeah. So we do have to preface this a little bit. We have already recorded, we said this. We've already recorded this coming Monday's episode. So it will release at the normal time. We won't have to worry about whether we have technical difficulties or don't have time to set up and do an episode because we probably won't. And also, to take all the gear down there and everything is just a lot. And so, but we've already recorded the episode.
Yeah.
And it's a good one. We're going to talk about, what do we talk about?
Robo umps.
Robo umps, yes. And we briefly, because we said so much about the robo umpires, that we briefly talked about errors and hits and how we've seen a lot. We just saw one. We just saw one in the game this week where
and Greg Brown says, that's a tough one.
I can't believe dude, that's an error all day.
Yeah.
And they actually called it an error.
I laughed because I was sitting there. We had just recorded the night before.
Yeah.
And I laughed. Ashley's out doing a puzzle because we're old. She's out there doing a puzzle at the table. And I'm like, they're going to not going to give him an error for that. And it's clearly an error. They're going to give him a hit. And they gave him an error. I was like, wow, look at that.
Yeah. I mean, they just had to on that one. But yeah. And I wonder if maybe because of the article, if they've had to change. Like if they've said, hey, we need to actually pay attention to this a little bit.
People are catching on.
People are on to us, right? Where do you hear it? Anyway, good episode coming up Monday. Don't want to miss that one. It'll be good. It'll be a good time, and hopefully Jake and I will be having a good time playing in every year we go down to this softball tournament. And, I don't know if any of you guys play softball or anything like that, but it's a good time.
Yeah.
When you can't hack it in baseball anymore, you just go play the game where they underhand it to you. It's a lot easier to hit it.
It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun down there. It's a big tournament. It's a lot of really good teams, and it's a lot of the same teams every year. And so, like, we've just got friends on other teams that we've gotten to know over the years, and it's a really good time. I'm looking forward to it. And obviously, we've got a pretty good squad going down there this year.
Yeah.
We've never won it.
No.
There's some real deal teams down there, man. So we've never won it. We got fourth back in 19. So looking forward to it. We've got a good team. We get hot. Never know. Let's have a Pirates April.
Yep.
I mean, we're a little better than that, though. We are a little bit better than that.
Hilarious.
Not better than like how they played, but like going into it, I expect us to do better than I expected the Pirates to do in April. So
100%.
So anyway, everything's going to be scheduled, ready to go. Looking forward to that. And this is a fun one. I like to look over those things. I don't know how much you guys like it, but I like to look over what it is. And I'd like to hear what you guys had for your win totals. But tell me now. Don't tell me after they get to your number. And then, because then I won't believe you. If you're watching on YouTube, put a comment down below and say, before the season, you can lie now. I won't know. But we're at 61. So tell me what you were at the beginning of the year, and I'll just believe you. But tell me.
The only way you can tell us after they've already surpassed it is if you were lower than 61.
Yeah. Yeah, and if so, I'd be like, why are you even listening to us? You got to be yelling at us all the time. You have to be screaming at us if you thought they were going to lose 100 games again. So, anyway. Let me know what it was. If you don't watch on the YouTube and you're just listening on audio, shoot us something on Twitter or what else? However else you get a hold of us. We need to have like a good way, like a really good way. Bridge to Buctober at outlook.com. You can do that. That does exist. So do that. And just send us an email. I'll get it. It goes right to my email. I just have it routing there. But anyway, let us know. Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Let us know what your win total is. I'd really like you to go onto the YouTube and put it there because then it pushes our video to other people.
Yeah.
That's good. Let me know because that's what we're racing for right now. We're not making the playoffs.
Playoffs?
We're talking about playoffs? All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day. Mm-hmm. You will hear from us, but we will actually not get to talk to you again until next week. But
Safe travels for anyone who's traveling.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I know I got an 11-hour drive, so.
Let's go Bucs.
Let's go Bucs.
Sweep them Cardinals.
Love it.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucs.